There's no chance.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
I recently watched The Godfather, and I gotta say, it was a very interesting film, had a lot of depth to it, and today I'm gonna give you kind of my overall review of the film. I'm not gonna go into every nitty-gritty detail of stuff that happened in the film, nor am I going to go too much into all the content. I'm just gonna hit some of the highlights. So first I'm gonna start off with the plot. So the story is kind of like about the mafia. You have two main characters, in my opinion. You have the Godfather, Vito Corleone, and then you have his son, Michael. So you have both of them, and they both. You start off the film with the Godfather. He's the head of the Corleone family. People bring his request to him. He's one of the most feared heads of one of the 5 families in New York, New Jersey. So he's kind of just fulfilling his roles as the leader of the family until this new thing called narcotics is entered into the family system. And all the other families are like, oh, we should invest in narcotics. It's going to make us a lot of money. While Vito Corleone only wants to do gambling. He thinks that there's danger in doing narcotics, so he refuses. So with his refusal, a lot of people are upset, and he actually ends up getting shot. And that puts him out of the movie for a good hour while we examine Michael's journey from in hiding to becoming the new Godfather. So that's just the overall plot. I want to say that this film is very complex. I had to pause it a couple of times to try to figure out exactly what was going on. There are a lot of people that are constantly having really fast character development, or they're just being killed off. I mean, nobody's safe in this film. I was shocked how many people just would get killed. I mean, it felt real, like the mafia, like nobody could be trusted. And that just made me think that the plot was really complex. The character development was really great. I think that's the reason a lot of people really like it, is because the film just has really good acting, and the characters are really well developed before they're either killed off. I mean, if you look at Michael, he's got the biggest journey, and his character development comes full circle when he originally didn't want to become like his father, and then he was forced into becoming like his father. So I thought that was very interesting. I loved watching the film and trying to figure out who was the mole. There were a couple different moles throughout the film, as you didn't know, as well as there were a couple of heists and killings that were going to happen, and you didn't know if they were actually going to happen or if they were going to. And then there were a few jaw-dropping ones as well. I mean, the film is over 2 hours and 55 minutes long, and I thought that that was going to be too long for a film. It feels a little long at some points, but overall, with the shocks that keep coming and the character development, it goes relatively fast. Especially once things start tying together in the second hour of the film. So overall, I think it's a really interesting movie. I think it's very complex, so I don't think it's a movie for people that don't really like to really think about a movie, that rather be entertained. This one's more of a brain teaser than it is entertainment, but at the same time, it's pretty entertaining as well. There's only a couple of negative things that I really didn't like about this film. So this film is rated R. And I knew that going into the film, but I didn't really look up why. But there is a lot of blood and killing. Most of the blood, I mean, it's like 80s theme violence. I mean, you can tell it isn't real blood, but at the same time, it can be horrifying for other people, especially those of you that don't like gore or don't have a tolerance for it. So there is definitely a lot of that in this film. So if you're not for gore, I would not recommend this film. There are a couple of sexual references, and one scene we see a woman take off her shirt for a couple of seconds. I just skipped right past that. There is some language, there's a couple of SOBs in the Lord's name in vain, but a lot of the really vulgar language is speaking in Italian. So if you don't know any Italian, I mean, at one point I kind of wish I did, because they kept talking in Italian and didn't know what they were saying. But at the same time, maybe it's a blessing, because who knows what they could have been saying. It could have been vulgar. So I mean, you have that, so, and then of course there's the talk about narcotics and drugs, and people are always drinking. So definitely a lot of stuff to keep in mind. There's a reason that it's rated R. Do not think that it is just rated R because it's older. There are some things in there to consider, especially if you watch this film. But overall, I think it's a decent film. I think it was really interesting. I can see why a lot of people really like it. And I'm kind of curious to see what happens in The Godfather Part 2. I don't know when I'm going to watch that, but let me know in the comments if you guys want to see a review on that. and if there's any other classic or 1980s film that you guys would like me to review. Thank you, and have a good rest of your day.